Welcome to Pinnacles National Park. I'm Alice Ford, and over the next couple of days I'll be showing you some of the best things to do here in the park. The first thing you will want to know is that this park has an east and west, and there is actually no road that connects them. Now most people are going to enter the park on the east side, which is where we are right now. This is where the majority of the good hikes are, as well as the Pinnacles campground. The US has 63 national parks covering diverse ecosystems in our country. From sea to sea and mountaintop to valley floor, America is wild and beautiful. So strap on your boots and follow me as we hike, climb, and discover America's national parks. Pinnacles National Park is the newest and smallest California national park. It features incredible dry mountain scenery, talus caves full of bats, chances to see California condors, and lots of great hiking and rock climbing opportunities. This is actually my first time coming to Pinnacles National Park, and this rounds out all of the California national parks for me. Now, this is actually the smallest national park in California and the newest, and what it's most famous for are California condors, which are giant vultures, and they actually went extinct in the 1980s and were brought back into the wild from some breeding programs that they did at the LA Zoo and the San Diego Zoo. Now we're hiking right now up the Condor Gulch trail, which is going to take us up to the High Peaks Trail, one of the best trails here in the park. But we're already seeing a bunch of the vultures, probably pretty small for you guys. But as we get to the top of this trail, we should have a pretty good view of some of them. One of the most famous things about this park are the population of California condors, and the Condor Gulch Trail is one of the best places to see them. They prefer the dawn and dusk part of the day, but there are a ton of them flying around right behind me here on the trail. Okay, so two California condors just flew over my head, and they are gigantic. You know, there's actually also turkey vultures in this park, but I just came upon this like groupings of trees here, and there's a ton of condors in the trees, and they're just way bigger than I expected them to be, and a little bit scary. The view up here is stunning. We've been hiking for about 2.5 miles. We're now along the High Peaks Trail, and I've seen a lot of California condors up here, but this is a great spot where you can actually get a fantastic view of the Pinnacles here, which Pinnacles Park is famous for. Now, I will say this trail has been super hot so far, and I am very happy to have a little bit of shade up here. So if you are coming to do this hike, plan accordingly. Either start early in the morning or come late in the afternoon. Make sure you've got layers to be able to cover up, because you might think that less clothes is better, but actually you're going to be a lot cooler if you've got long sleeves and even long pants on, and saving your skin from some of the sun. Pinnacles has just one campground. There's over 130 sites here for both tents, RVs, and even some glamping huts. I recommend bringing your 2-second tent though, having a quick setup, and then heading over to the swimming pool for a nice afternoon dip. Good morning, it's about 6:15. I'm just getting my coffee and breakfast going here, and then we're gonna head back into the park. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of information about Pinnacles Campground if you do decide to stay here when you come to the park. So as I said already, there's about 133 sites here at the park, but you will want to know that there's actually only 2 bathrooms that are in operation right now that have faucets and where you can wash your face or brush your teeth. The rest of them are actually closed right now. The main bathrooms, which are up by the camp store, have 2 showers for men and 2 showers for women, and that's for the entire campground. So plan on either waiting a while if you want to get a shower in or doing it when you get back home. And same for the bathrooms. You'll definitely want to scope those out when you check in so that you're not stumbling around at night looking for a bathroom that could be potentially pretty far away. So at the closed bathrooms, they do have porta potties, but they're not going to have an interior place where you can kind of freshen up. The camp store here is actually open from about 10 to 6 every day, give or take, and that's also the same hours for the swimming pool. There is almost no reception in Pinnacles. There's a little bit at the top of the High Peaks Trail. So if you need Wi-Fi to download park maps, trail maps, or find your campsite, you're gonna wanna come to the camp store as well. Wi-Fi isn't free, but it's just $3 for an hour. The Bear Gulch area is also a great place to come and picnic or barbecue during the day. There are tons of places to set up your picnic here, and also there's water faucets here as well for you to put out your coals or refill your water bottle. The west side of the park is home to the Bear Gulch Reservoirs and Cave System, and this is a hike you definitely want to do. It's just less than a mile out to the reservoir, only half a mile out to the caves, and I think you're gonna like what we see there. One of the other really cool species here at Pinnacles are bats. They live all throughout the park in talus caves, and as you're walking through the park, you will notice a lot of cave systems. One of the cave systems that I was hoping to visit on this trip was the Bear Gulch Cave System. That is actually closed right now for bat breeding season, but there's some other caves that we're going to go through, and we're heading right now out to the Bear Gulch Reservoir. Now, if you didn't know, bats are a keystone species, and they've been in a lot of trouble around the world. Their numbers have declined in almost every corner of the planet due to different diseases like white nose syndrome and others. So it's really important that parks like this are preserving the places that the bats breed and live. And it's also really cool that we can actually visit these places. So if you're coming here to Pinnacles when the bat caves are open, just make sure that you're respectful and quiet when you go through the cave system so that you don't disturb them.
There are 23 species of bats in California, and 14 of these are known to occur within Pinnacles National Park. The Bear Gulch Cave provides a home to a colony of Townsend's big-eared bats who rest here in winter and raise their young in the late spring and summer. Bats are really important, both because they're a keystone species and they eat a lot of insects. They help disperse seeds and pollinate plants, too, and save the U.S. agriculture industry more than $3 billion a year by naturally reducing crop damage and pesticide use. Pinnacles is a great place for rock climbers with more than 300 rock climbing routes in the park, which are all very well marked and easy to hike to. Note that the rock here is soft and flaky in a lot of places, and trails can close at any time for Condors, so it's always best to have a backup route. This is one of Pinnacles' most iconic sites, the Bear Gulch Reservoir. It was completed in 1935 by the Civilian Conservation Corps, who also built many of the trails in the parks, and it's certainly a favorite among visitors.
I've been loving the east side of Pinnacles National Park. We're not quite done exploring. There's a little bit more of the park we have yet to see, so we're going to be heading over to the west side of the park. As I said in the beginning of this video, the roads through the park actually don't connect. So in order to get over to the west side, we have to leave the park, drive around, and then enter on the other side. This takes about an hour, but there's a great hike over there that I'm really excited to show you guys. All right, welcome to Pinnacles West. There's really only two main areas here on this side of the park, and most of it you will want to park at the Apparel parking area. This is to hike the Balconies Cave Loop, which is what we're gonna do today. You can also connect to the other side of the park from here on some longer trails. The Balconies Trail is by far one of the best places to experience the talus caverns here at the park, and they're one of the best and most accessible places in all of the world to see talus caverns too. It is pretty narrow through here. As you guys are noticing, there are a ton of boulders in here, and that is one of the distinctions of a talus cave.
Talus caves are openings formed between boulders piled up on mountain slopes. The ones here were formed by ancient volcanoes, as this area runs right along the San Andreas fault line. Over thousands of years, running water slowly eroded deep and narrow chasms amid the Pinnacles' giant rocks, and then huge chunks of these rocks fragmented off and fell into the chasms. Now, sometimes these rocks were too large to fit inside, so they were caught, forming a roof and creating these rocky tunnels known as talus caves.
That was really neat getting to explore those caves, and it was really cool in there as well. So if you need a little bit of respite on a hot summer day like today, it's a great place to go in and just sit in there, have a little bit of a break. It's probably about 30 to 40 degrees cooler inside these caves than it is out here. Well, that pretty much sums up Pinnacles National Park. We've seen California condors flying high, explored the talus caverns, and done some of the best hikes here in the park, and even spent the night at the Pinnacles campground. There was so much to do here. I absolutely loved this short little trip to this small California National Park, and I hope that you guys did as well. If you're new here, you know what to do. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop a comment down below as well, and I will see you guys on the next adventure. As always, I'm Alice Ford. Never stop exploring.